Homeland Security Secretary Jim Loy. All right, Admiral, so how do you respond to this?
Well, I think we have to respond with some kind of a factual investigatory process that gets facts on the table before we speculate what the outcomes might be in one direction or another. So it was disappointing, of course, that we had Russia veto the resolution from the United Nations Security Council just yesterday. But I think an investigatory, some basis on which facts can be put on the table, where judgments can be taken, and then options can be exercised going the other way.
Well, wasn't there some sort of factual assessment that led to the Trump administration retaliation with those 59 Tomahawk missiles?
Without a doubt. There's very little doubt in the minds of our intelligence community that there was involvement at the national level of Syria with regard to the choice made, the weapons chosen, and the execution of those strikes of the sarin gas. So we think we understand exactly what happened, but there's a value in an international validation process.
You know, Admiral Loy, I find it sort of compelling here that Assad is using the same line that Lavrov used yesterday in a joint press conference about the international community and some sort of investigation. We're not sure if it was chemical weapons. And then Russia, to your point earlier, actually not joining with the UN resolution. It feels like more games are being played to accomplish what? A public relations win here? And who would they win over?
Well, it's about the losers. The losers remain the Syrian people who were dealt with in the manner they were by Assad. So the challenge on the table here, I think, again, is to get facts in place, let the international community recognize those facts, and come to judgments based on those facts that can be put on the table publicly. So I think that's where we happen to find ourselves. But the posturing associated with the PR win or the PR loss is clearly going on. And as we watch that, I would like to think that we hold on to an affirmation that getting those facts on the table for the international community to see and respond to is really the answer to the question.
You know, with all due respect to the international community, we've seen a small resolve when it comes to actually enforcing, pushing back these ruthless dictator bad actors of the world. Most of them did cheer us on. The applause for the Trump administration came from all corners, including a lot of vocal critics. So how much policy should be set or wedded to the idea of pro or con international encouragement or discouragement?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I mean, there's great disappointment around the world during the Obama administration when we put red lines in the sand and then backed away from them as dramatically as we did. So I think lots of countries around the world, and certainly the citizens of our country, should be encouraged by the choice made by President Trump to launch the 59 missiles.
Right.
Having said that, the value of looking at the history of all of this, if we go back to Gaddafi, if we go back to Hussein, if we go back to Milosevic, yes, our country has stood for the right of many of these
right.
aggressive dictators in the past, and that hopefully will remain our behavioral pattern going into the future.
We don't have much time, less than a minute, but I do want to squeeze in the question for you on rules of engagement going forward. I think obviously chemical weapons and the sort of damage they do being against a crime against all of humanity. Are there other instances now where the Trump administration should probably react almost immediately to send the same message, including these gasoline-filled barrel bombs and things like that?
Well, those are the Syrian questions, and of course there are North Korean questions on the table at the same time. So I think the President has made it quite clear that he is not taking any option off the table in any of these circumstances and will respond appropriately when an international event occurs. On the other hand, we have to be very careful. An event does not become a strategy until it's pretty clear over multiple occasions. So what we're finding at the moment, I believe, in the Trump administration is that with the old aphorism that says talk is cheap and behavior counts. If the talk was during the campaign and the rhetoric associated with that sort of hinted in one direction or another, the actual behavior of a governing president is a very different thing.
Right. Well,
and I think we should be encouraged by what we're seeing today.
We really are, and of course the stakes have risen. We appreciate your time this afternoon, Admiral Loy.